Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So Hare Krishna Prabhus.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Today we are reading from the third chapter. Can you all hear me? You can hear me, right? Yeah.
Prabhu, yeah.
I think it's fine. No worries, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. So today we are reading from third chapter and this is 17th verse. So I'll chant and then if you have the reference you can repeat after me. Yastvatma ratirevasya
Yasvatma ratirevasya.
Yastvatma ratirevasya
Yasvatma ratirevasya.
Atmatriptascha manavaha
Atmatriptascha manavaha.
Atmatriptascha manavaha
Atmatriptascha manavaha.
Atmanyeva cha santushta
Atmaneva cha santushta.
Atmanyeva cha santushta
Atmaneva cha santushta.
Tasya karyam na vidyate
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Tasya karyam na vidyate
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Yastvatma ratirevasya
Yasvatma ratirevasya.
Atmatriptascha manavaha
Atmatriptascha manavaha.
Atmanyeva cha santushta
Atmaneva cha santushta.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Anyone wants to chant? Yastvatma ratirevasya
Atmatriptascha manavaha. Atmanyeva cha santushta. Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Please repeat the synonyms. Yaha,
Yaha,
one who,
one who,
two,
two,
but, Atmaratihi,
Atmaratihi,
taking pleasure in the self,
taking pleasure in the self.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly,
certainly,
Syat, remains, Atmatriptaha,
Atmatriptaha,
self-illuminated,
self-illuminated,
Cha,
and
Manavaha,
Manavaha,
man, Atmani, in
Atmani,
himself, Eva,
Eva,
only,
only,
Cha,
and
Santushtaha,
Santushtaha,
perfectly satiated,
perfectly said,
Tasya,
Tasya,
his,
Karyam,
duty,
na,
does not,
does not,
Vidyate,
exists.
Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Please repeat the translation. But for one
But for one
who takes pleasure in the self,
who takes pleasure in the self,
whose human life
whose human life
is one of self-realization,
is one of self-realization,
satisfied
to satisfy
in the self only,
in the self only,
fully satiated,
for
him, there is no duty.
there is no duty.
Please hear the purport. A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed, an effect of many, many thousands of yajna performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Such a Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements like wine, woman, and similar infatuations. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana
चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः
Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna Prabhus, Hare Krishna Matajis. It's very nice to see many familiar faces I'm seeing. It's so nice to see all of you, some of you for the first time, at least for me. But it's so nice that we have again kick-started this program. You may find that such programs, this house is a temple, but it's not a mansion, right? All of us are very ordinary beings. It's a typical Sunday evening and we're all here. And sometimes we may feel that this is just a normal gathering. But if you deeply think about it, how many persons on a Sunday evening are very relaxed and thinking about what God had spoken to Arjuna? This occasion, even though seemingly very mundane, is very extraordinary, right? Great things are performed when ordinary people perform very extraordinary things. So such programs you will find is actually very, very rare. When we come to Sunday evening, the only thing that runs through our mind is what is going to happen for the rest of the week. And we are already very stressed and we are all thinking about it. But when we come on a Sunday evening to rest our mind in the Gita, you will find that that stress and that anxiety is actually curtailed. Because here we are hearing about Krishna and what Krishna has spoken to Arjuna. And today's verse is especially relevant to all human beings. Because here Krishna is telling Arjuna in very emphatic terms that human being means Atman eva cha santushtas, that a human being must be satisfied internally. That is the meaning of a human being. One who is not a human being is a person who is always looking for happiness and satisfaction in the outside. And one who does not realize that everything that we are looking for is already packed, right, sealed, and is actually kept within us. The example our scripture gives us is about the musk deer. You all must have heard, I've never seen it, but I've heard that this musk deer has a very fragrant smell that comes out of its own body. And when the smell comes out of its body, it gets intoxicated, that it starts to run all over the place looking for the source of that smell, not knowing that the smell, that fragrance, is actually coming from inside itself. This is what many persons in this day and age are actually doing. That we do not realize that everything that we require is actually inside us. And that's what we call as Atma. Atma in Sanskrit has two meanings. One is the soul and one is body. So even before coming to the soul, if you just look at the body, all the medication that you required for yourself is actually contained within the body. If you really study the anatomy of the body, those who have taken biology, you will find that everything that is required, when you eat green vegetables, but your blood is red. We cannot actually say that, how come the blood is red? I'm eating purple cabbage, I'm eating green spinach, I'm eating white rice, but why is the blood red? Because there is a certain process within our body that converts all of this. And just imagine that everything that you eat stays within your body. What will happen? What will happen if everything that we eat stays in the body? Eventually what will happen? It will burst, yes, very nice. It will burst and we will die. But there is a system to evacuate what is not required from the body. Did we have a doctor coming to activate that feature in our body when we were born? No, there was no activation. The moment we were born, it was already there. So Atma at the bodily level is also very self-sufficient. And even beyond that, the soul is very much sufficient for us actually to be happy. So then, why are we not happy? There's this story of Hanuman. I'll tell two stories and you must have heard it many times, but it's nice to hear of great personalities. Who is Hanuman? Hanuman is a
monkey god.
Yes. Okay, monkey god. He knows he's a monkey god. But to common man, you can minus the word god. Hanuman is a monkey. Right? That's all there is to him. Monkey means, does he have a home? Does not. Does he have a tree to stay in? Factually speaking, monkeys do not have a designated tree. They will not tell you tree A is my home. They will keep jumping from tree to tree. Are they educated?
No.
Do they look for a job? Do they wear clothes? Factually speaking, monkeys do not have anything to themselves. But all of us worship Hanuman. All of us who live in a house, who have glorified jobs, we're trying to push our children to become the best versions of themselves, and then we show them that worship this monkey and you will be better than this monkey. He has nothing, but you worship him, you get everything. We are going to someone who has nothing to get everything for ourselves. Why? We go to Hanuman because Hanuman is the epitome of Atmanyeva Tasantushtas. He's completely satisfied with who he is. A monkey must be the most insecure person in the world. Just imagine, right? Now I entered, all of you have a crown on your head. All of you are wearing jewelry, right? And all of you came in a Rolls Royce. If I were to enter such a place, how should I feel? I'll feel like, oh, okay, I think I'm a bit out of place. right? Everyone's so rich, everyone is so eloquent. There is something that I am missing. But Hanuman, no matter where he enters, he entered the court of Ravan. All ministers, Ravana so powerful. But when he entered the court of Ravan, Hanuman was actually became, for the first time, arrogant. He actually felt he had much more than what Ravan and his ministers had. So what exactly did he have? Again, he did not have anything materially, but in his heart, he had Ram. He had Ram. That is the only thing that he had in his heart, and that was the level of his security. So these two pastimes, there was once they were starting to build the bridge across from India to Lanka. We all know that, right? But how were they building the bridge? Were they laying the foundation with machines and then putting some rocks on top of it? What were they doing? They were writing the name of Ram on the stone, and they were throwing it into the ocean, and magically what happened? It was floating, right? And as they were doing this, the person who was observing this was actually Ram. He was standing behind a boulder and he was observing. And he was very surprised that I am here. They're ignoring me. Simply they're writing my name, they're throwing, and it is floating. What magic, what sorcery is this? Let them go to sleep. I will also try. So what happened was, when they all went to sleep, right? Everyone sleeps except Hanuman. Because Hanuman 24 hours he's chanting Ram, Ram, Ram. So when Ram came, he came out, he took the boulder, right? And he's Ram. He doesn't have to write his name, right? Others can write his name. He doesn't need to. So what he did was, he took the stone, he took the rock, and he threw it into the ocean. What happened? He drowned. And he said, no, this cannot be. Maybe I'm throwing it in the wrong way. So he threw it again. And immediately, the boulder started to sink. And he was bewildered. God, Ram, became bewildered. And then from behind, very cheekily, Hanuman came out. He said, what are you trying to do? And then Ram said that, I'm seeing all of you writing my name and throwing. And it is floating. But when I throw it, it is sinking. What is this? What is the difference? And then Hanuman tells him, my dear Lord, when we throw the rock, we are uniting you with the rock. The rock is nothing. It is a very hollow thing. But we are uniting the rock with your name. And when we throw it, it has substance. And then it floats. But when you throw the rock, my Lord, you are rejecting it. And because you reject it, the rock does not have substance in it. This is our life also. In our life, 99% God doesn't reject us. 100% of the time, we reject God. And then what happens is, our life and our heart has actually a void. And to fill that void, we work like anything. We try to gather some status in society. We try to get some good name from our spouse, from our children, which we will never get. And from our extended family, from our friends, from our job, everything simply to make ourselves feel secure. But one thing we must understand, Prabhus and Mataji, as Krishna is telling Arjuna, we don't need anyone to tell us that we are enough. Actually, we don't need anyone to tell us that whatever we have is actually enough. Modern education is always telling us that we do not have enough. And that is why at every step in our life, we actually feel insecure. And why? Because we have rejected Ram, we have pushed him out of our heart. And that is why what happens is we are sinking. Next pastime, also we have heard. After the war ended, they all went back to Ayodhya and everyone was participating in Thanksgiving. So Ram wanted to honor all the Vanaras, especially Hanuman. And when Hanuman came forward, Ram asked him, what is it that you want? Ask me anything. And what did Hanuman say? I don't want anything. I only want to chant your names and I only want your service. But then Sita Devi said, no, that's not enough. He did so much. So she took out that pearl garland and she gave it to him. What did Hanuman do? Pearl garland, right? If we were getting from Sita Devi, we'll worship it, right? Or if we don't have money, we'll give it to the pawn shop and they'll give us some money. It must be so valuable, right? But what did Hanuman do? He started taking it, he snapped it, he took out all the pearls and he started to bite, he started to hit it, and everyone felt that this really monkey, right, doesn't know the value of a pearl, right? That's what we would think. The monkey does not know the value of a pearl. But what does Hanuman say? He says, my dear friends, your value is in the pearl, but the value I seek is whether Sita and Rama are in that pearl. That is the value that I seek. For me, value is not in the external. Atmanyeva tasantushtas. It is inner. And then they will ask him, right, that famous question. You know, you're so arrogant, you're a monkey. Because everyone thought they were very affluent, right? And so they had a lot of social status. What does he know? Since you're so arrogant, then what about your body? Right? Where is Ram? And then very famously, he tears his chest and he shows them, right? Even in my body, Sita and Ram, they are actually enshrined. And in that way, everyone understands what is the meaning of substance. This same thing happened in the life of Yudhishthir Maharaj and Arjuna. When the war ended, right, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was crowned as king, there came a point in time, Krishna felt that I have now done everything. It is now time for me to go back, and it is now time for Kali to enter. The good times are over, right? Everyone needs to see what this material world is all about. And at that point in time, Arjuna will take a pilgrimage. He'll go one round and he will go to Dwarka, he will see Krishna, and he will find out that Krishna had already left. And at that point in time, Yudhishthir Maharaj will sense that there are some bad omens that have started to appear in the environment. In those days, people were of such high caliber that they had foresight of what was going to happen. They could not see, but they were so sharp and they were so quiet in their mind, they could detect subtle changes in the environment. Nowadays, it's all too loud, right? At home, we just turn on the TV. We don't even know what the children are doing in the room. What to speak about what is going to happen in our lives. Our lives have become so loud, that we do not know that there are subtle changes in environment. Those who meditate, those who chant the name of Krishna every day, those who have a calm mind, they have the power to detect. It is not mystical. They are just very quiet. They are able to detect subtle changes in the environment. And Yudhishthir Maharaj was able to detect this. And when Arjuna came back, Yudhishthir Maharaj roughly knew what had happened. But ignorance is bliss. He did not want to hear that Krishna had already left. So he will ask him all the questions except whether Krishna had left. Right? But he will hint to Arjuna, and then he will ask him, my dear Arjuna, oh great archer, what has happened to your best friend Krishna? Right? Because I see some omens that are appearing. And further down in the chapters where their grandson Parikshit Maharaj appears, in that chapter it is mentioned what had actually happened. Yasmin arhani yarhi eva Bhagavan utsasarjagam. It is mentioned that at that moment, Yasmin ahani means on that very day. Yarhi eva means at that very moment. Bhagavan utsasarja. Bhagavan utsasarja means God had left it behind. When God left earth, what happens is Kali, Prabhava Kalihi. Kali enters. And Prabhupada translates the word Kali as quarrel. So when God leaves, the void is created. And what do humans do to fill the void? They quarrel. That is how we fill the void. If we are very bored, we start fighting. You can see around the world, people are getting very bored. So one country will bomb the other country, another country will bomb the other country. Factually speaking, these are systems, yes, but who created the systems? They are human beings. A system is not created out of thin air. It is created by persons. It is created by individuals. And when they cannot fill the void that is in their hearts, what do? Prabhava Kali. They try to progress quarrel. Now take it into our own lives. Because when we see Donald Trump, we see Putin, we see Modi, we see them on the TV, we'll have some criticism, we'll empathize with them. But the moment we switch on the TV, we just continue with our own lives. So better we look at our own lives. In our lives, when we have a void, we also use quarrel to fill that void. If we examine our lives, 90% of our time is used in thinking about someone else. Hardly 10% is used to think about our own self-improvement. Even if we think about our self-improvement, we will always benchmark it against another person. This person is like that, so I should also be like that. This CEO said this. He's waking up at 4 a.m., running at 6 a.m., clearing all his emails by 8 a.m., and we see them as the role model. And this is how I should be. And we start doing it also. But we don't realize, actually he doesn't wake up at 4 a.m. Someone wrote some article putting the person's face, and we are following it thinking that guy is doing it. And we are struggling like anything. How come I can't do it and he's doing? He's sleeping. We are trying to wake up. Because why? We do not know that everything that is required for us, where is it? Is inside. What we need, why we need to wake up, is not because someone is waking up. Why we need to put on our shoes and run is not because someone is doing it. We need to do it because we have to be healthy. We know our own body, right? If we eat a lot, what happens?
Sleepy.
We feel sleepy. We put on weight, we have cholesterol. Do we need someone inspirational to go to exercise for us to realize that we have to exercise? No. Just ask your own body, and it is more than sufficient. So this is exactly what happened when Krishna actually left. The moment he left, the quarrel came in. But when God is in our lives, you will find that we will quarrel less, because the void is actually filled. So now one may ask, so now should I tear my chest and show that Krishna and Ram are there? If now I need to go into my safe, take out all my jewelry, right, start biting it and seeing whether Ram is there, should I now give it up? How do we do it? Again, right, we are not Hanuman. We cannot do what Hanuman has done. We take him as inspiration, but we have our own lives. So how do we do it? Prabhupada gives us that solution in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He tells us that as for detachment or self-satisfaction is concerned, the children, wife and home and husband. Of course, when in scripture when it's written wife, for the wife it means husband, the spouse, the children and the home, which comes with all its paraphernalia, is not meant that one should not have feeling for this. This is very important point. Because Prabhupada tells us these are natural objects of affection. The word is natural. Anything that is natural is Krishna. Anything that is artificial is anti-Krishna. So the love that we feel for our family members is not force. If you are forced to love your family, then you have to think about it, right? This is not the class for you. That's a whole bigger problem altogether. But naturally, we love our family. Meaning to say that it is Krishna in that love. How many of us chose our parents before we came to this world? How many of us were given a form? Were you? You chose Mama? He's thinking. He said yes, he has chosen. None of us have chosen. Right? Spouse we may choose. Do we choose our parents? No. So who has given parents? Krishna. What about our siblings?
Also Krishna.
Yes. Parents will agree. Siblings will think, I think I selected, I made a wrong choice. Right? Especially when we are younger. When I ask this to the young crowd, right? Parents, they will all say, no, we didn't choose our parents. When I say siblings, they jam. They say, no, cannot be, because my sibling is so cruel to me. Some defect must have been there. Right? But frankly speaking, all these people, we never got the chance to choose. Natural objects of affection. And you will find, if we want Krishna in our lives, we have to maintain it that way. There's this story of Ramanujacharya. How many of us have not heard of Ramanujacharya? Right? Great Acharya from Sri Vaishnavism. There was a man. He wanted initiation from Ramanujacharya. And he approached him and said, Maharaj, I want to become more spiritual. I want to become divine. I want to leave my material assets behind. I have left my wife. She has died and I'm very happy. And now I want to become a spiritualist. He said, wait, just sit. There was another man who came and said that my wife has left and I'm so sad and I'm crying every day that she has left me. Now I'm approaching your feet and I want shelter. And he said, immediately I'll give you initiation. And then the man who's seated and said, I'm so detached from my wife. Right? I should be the one who should be getting initiation, not the man who's crying for his wife. You know what Ramanujacharya told him? You can't even love your own wife. And you're coming to me, asking me for love of God. So you are disqualified. This man, at least he has love for his wife. Natural object of affection. So he has a chance to know what love is. So I will give him initiation to continue now loving Krishna. This is the point. Atmanyeva tasantushtas means that it is not only what is inside, it is what we have around us that we must be satisfied with. Many people may ask, Prabhu, you are saying we must be satisfied, so is there no progress? Shouldn't we progress? We should progress. But why progress out of frustration? You see the point. The point should not be that I don't have enough. That is why I should progress. We should progress because we already have enough. You see? This is very important. Modern education always tells us progress means you are looking at your lack. Spiritual life means you are looking at already what you have, but you are still progressing. You see? It is a paradox, but that is actually spiritual life. So, 4 things are given. The first thing is, whoever we have to love them. And there should be no quarrel. Our heart should be filled with love and not void. We should not feel that now I've gotten married to this person. I need to struggle for the rest of my life. That thought should not cross. And we shouldn't feel that now our children, they're behaving badly, they're not doing well in their studies. They should have been better. This thought should never cross our minds. And then he goes. Prabhupada tells us 4 things that we should do to fill the void in our heart. Atmanyeva tasantushtas. How does that happen? First thing, he says that we should chant the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, on a daily basis. But this is the first thing that we will not do. Why? Because it is too simple. It's very simple. How can it be, that I'm supposed to fill my heart with happiness. This process is too simple. I must pay $1,000. I must go to some country, stay in some ashram. I must give the sadhu some money. He will bring me through a course, and then I will feel satisfied. Actually, if you want to feel satisfied, you have to feel satisfied now. That is the art of satisfaction. You don't have to give your money, save your money, put it into some fixed deposit, get some interest for it. Don't waste the money. All you have to do is to sit down and chant. First thing. Second thing, you know, food that we eat, how many of us don't eat? Cannot, we have to eat. So it is our most primitive need. Note the point. Eating is not advancing. Eating is the most primitive need of every living entity. If we cannot be satisfied with eating, we will never be satisfied with anything else. So that food has to be offered to Krishna. Whatever we have, whatever we cook, either through the altar or mentally, we offer it to Krishna and we tell him, my dear Lord, I am so thankful for what you have given me today. You know, the Christians and Catholics, they do this very diligently. You know, in our culture we also have that, but we don't do it. They do it very diligently. It's something that we should learn from them. We have, in our culture, we have a full prayer that we chant before we take prasadam. And in that, what we are saying is, God, my dear Lord, I'm so grateful for what you have given me, but this food, when it enters my system, I should not hanker for something better. My tongue must become controlled by having your prasadam. You will find this is a very scientific process. It is mentioned that if you want to control your stomach and further down your other sensual organs, if you want to control that, the first thing that you have to control is what is situated on top. That is the tongue. One who cannot control the tongue cannot control the stomach and cannot control the sensual organs. And when these organs are not controlled, the root of all disease comes from the stomach, from indigestion. When we do not digest our food and when we keep putting the food inside, the diseases start to spread because of food that is stagnating. And when the stomach presses on our lower organs, we tend to want to enjoy ourselves even more. And the more we enjoy ourselves sensually, the more we lose the vital energy in our body. You know, sadhus in the Himalayas, have you seen them upside down? You'll think that they're crazy, right? Actually, it's a scientific process. The energy that is stored in the lower parts of the body, they are trying to raise it towards their brain. Remember I told you that our body is self-sufficient? The sadhus have realized that. There is medicine. It is called ojas. They try to raise it towards the brain to give it even more energy. We don't have to do that. What we have to do is simply to take prasadam. So chanting and we take prasadam. Third thing is what we are doing now. Having some discussion on two books, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. If you cannot do the first two, in my opinion, this is the most important. That we must try to find time at least once a week or once every fortnight to come together like this. If we are serious about our lives, we have to come together to have some discussion on Gita and Bhagavatam. And the fourth thing is to engage in deity worship. We have come here, you all had Arati before the program, and in your own homes, in our culture, we have some altar. Right? We put the altar, we do some puja. If you do these four things in your life, you will be completely satisfied. Atmanyeva tasantushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. I keep saying tasya karyam na vidyate. Atmanyeva tasantushtas means now we know how to be satisfied. You know what is the meaning of tasya karyam na vidyate? For that person who is satisfied, there is absolutely no duty. So if we are satisfied today, tomorrow morning you don't have to go to work. What do you think? Tomorrow morning mothers don't have to wake up in the morning and children will go to school. It's okay, no duty. Everything, because I'm satisfied, everything is auto mode. Do you think it's true? No. Tasya karyam na vidyate means the duty does not become a chore. Monday morning for a devotee is equivalent to a Friday evening. Devotees do not have Friday evening, they don't have Monday mornings, they don't have Monday blues. Everything is pink and rosy. Because why? The heart is full. The heart is full. So when the children wake up, they're happy that this is my duty. I have to do it. Right? But it's not a chore. When I go to work, right, I'm getting some Lakshmi. I should do it. I should do the work with love. I should do the work with some passion. It is very important, Prabhus and Matajis. We confuse these things. That I should become indifferent to work. Arjuna was never told that. Krishna told Arjuna, fight to the best of your ability. But why is he in the middle of the battlefield bringing this verse up? Because he's telling him, if you are not satisfied inside, everything will become a burden to you. Everything becomes a burden. So at the end of the year, we have to take a holiday. When we come back, we have to turn on the TV. After work, we have to take something or inhale something, right? All these habits are coming because our duty has become a burden to us. If our duty is enlivening us, why do we have to put something into our body after work? We like what we're doing. You see how everything changes when you are satisfied inside. And in conclusion, again, we'll come back to Hanuman. How is it after doing these four things that this satisfaction or self-satisfaction enters into our hearts? When Hanuman was told that now you have to jump, you have built the bridge and all, but you have to jump to go and see Mother Sita, because I have a message for you, Ram says, and you have to meet her. So he's given him. It is a duty, right? It's a very difficult duty. Hanuman could have said, Sunday evening, now I have to jump, but he was so excited. My dear Lord, you are giving me some service. So he never saw anything as a chore. He saw everything as service. One who is satisfied has no duty. He only has service. Tasya karyam na vidyate. The duty to the child is a service. Speaking loving words to the spouse, is a service. Picking up the children from school is a service. This you may have difficulty to digest. Working for your boss is a service, right? Because we are getting what? Money. Our grandparents, because they took money from someone, they gave their lives to the organization. 30, 40 years. And when I ask my grandparents, so many years, no progression, is it? You know what they say? I took money. If I take money, I have to work. Now is, for the amount of work I'm doing, right, they are paying me peanuts. Haven't you heard that? The whole culture has changed. But the man who is working for whatever he's getting, whether he's progressing or not, they are satisfied. You see? So Hanuman, when he got that, Tasya karyam na vidyate, not chore, I will jump. But then he felt, I can't do it. This is the key. He felt very humble. He did not feel that now I'm so capable that now I'm able to do it. This is the difference between a chore and a service. Chore means we are full of ourselves. We are frustrated most of the time in our lives because we are full of thinking about our own glories. How I am so expert to do it. But service means Hanuman felt that I cannot do this. And Jambavan had to come and remind him You are this, you are that, you are so great, you are so powerful, you are more powerful than all of us. Now put yourself in Hanuman's shoes. If anyone were to come and tell you now, you are so amazing, you are so great, you have great education, you are greater than all of us, how would you feel? Sorry? Yes, I like the word Mataji used. Balloon. Right? Because balloon gets inflated. Right? It's a good word. Our ego becomes ballooned. And if we were going to jump, what would we do? Because I'm so great, I will jump. But what did he do? Before he jumped, what did he say? Jai Shri Ram. Why did he say that? Because even after hearing it, he felt that no, I cannot do it. It is only by the mercy of Ram that I will be able to do it. Atmanyeva tasantushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. Because in his heart there is no void. Those who have God in their heart, they are full, but they are humble. That is Hanuman. He's so powerful, but you will never ever see Hanuman arrogant. Only in Ravan's court. Anywhere else you will find in the whole Ramayana, Hanuman is the most humble personality. This combination is very powerful. You are competent, but you are humble. So he thinks that only through Ram's glory. And you know what else he thinks about? Ramayana tells us, he thinks that I have to jump because Ram is in anguish. Those who are full in their hearts will have time to think of others. Those who are not full in their hearts will only think about themselves. This is a very, very important point. Devotees only do two things. They are chanting God's names and they are worrying about the suffering of others. These are the only two things that spiritualists and devotees do. They do not think about themselves. Of course, self-help, self-care, all this is there. But because they are full, they are always worried for another person. Why do you think the mother is so glorified? It's not because some sadhu came and told us that mother is great. We have personal experience that she is the only living entity besides God who, without being given anything, is only thinking about another person's welfare. The children steps the mother, kicks the mother, spits at the mother. The mother will always look for the child. This is the quality that makes the mother so great. It's common sense. So devotees are like that. So he thought that Ram must be in anguish, so I have to jump. Another thing he thought, that all these Vanaras and Jambavan, they are now engaged in penance. They told him, you jump, we will do the groundwork here for you. We will engage in penance, and all the powers of our penance, Hanuman, we will give it to you. And he was thinking about them. He was thinking that for me to fly, how many people are working? He was grateful. So you see, Prabhus and Matajis, just by looking at this one verse and by looking at Hanuman, you can really find that everything that we require for our lives is actually already given to us. If we realize it, the first thing that will happen is we will become secure. We will never feel insecure in any situation or any circumstance. And when we feel secure, what we will automatically do is start to think about others. And in this world, in this day and age, I think you will agree with me, it is time that we think for the welfare of others and not simply think of our welfare. You look at the international landscape now. Everyone has gone into a cocoon that I need to think about myself, my country. They are not wrong. The situation and the system has reached a certain stage where every person has to look out for himself. How did we get to this? Atmanyeva tasantushtas. Because we are not satisfied. We are always looking at another man's mansion and we are burning our own heart. We should be satisfied where we are, and from there we make progress. And in that way, every duty that we perform becomes a chore, becomes a service. Service is beautiful. The more we serve, the more beautiful our life becomes. So thank you very much for patiently hearing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are there any comments, any questions anyone has? If there's nothing, should we do Kirtan, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
We'll do 5 minutes Kirtan.
We do more.
We can do more? Okay. You know, I like the arrangement today. You will find that I spoke so much about self-satisfaction. Sometimes when we come into a spiritual society and we get spiritual paraphernalia, we become very satisfied with material life. But then we become very dissatisfied with spiritual life. Because that is human habit. So then we start feeling that, you know, when I come for a program, we need a mic stand, we need the sound system, we need the harmonium, we need mridanga, we need an expert singer, right? Then we can do our spiritual life. But in spiritual life, we must be very satisfied. The less we have, the higher the purity. The more we have, the lower the purity. If you have too many instruments, if you have too many paraphernalia, of course we will still have the mic stand, we still have all this, but best to keep it minimum. In this day and age, people are also not satisfied with the way we perform devotional service. Have you heard of this concept called bhajan clubbing? Right? It's not wrong, but be very careful, because spiritual life is not for entertainment. It's simply saying that my TV is spoiled, so I'm going to a club to sing God's names. It shouldn't be like that. What we should do is we should keep our devotional service very simple. Breathing is simple? Yes. Devotional service should be as simple as breathing. You wake up, without anything, you should be able to do your spiritual life. That will maintain the purity. Whatever else we require, we should only touch to the extent that we need. Because if we complicate spiritual life and devotional life, and we make it into social entertainment, then you will find that the crowd will grow. But in your heart, you will never be satisfied. You will never. The purity will not be there. And this is exactly why Prabhupada gave us Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is no entertainment in this book. That is why sometimes it's a bit difficult. But if you sit with this book and if you read it, whether you get anything or not, I can tell you, you will get purity and you will be happy in your life. So let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र युग धर्म की निरंतराट श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. So thank you